Hey guys, today we just wanted to talk to you about some struggles that we are facing getting plants in the ground and keeping them in the ground. When we first moved here, we kind of knew that this was going to be a journey to, the first year especially, because the reality is when you're planting in a brand new soil that hasn't been planted into for maybe a long time, could have just been lawn, or maybe like in our case, a lot of it was just kind of bare dirt. The reality is the soil isn't ready for your plants to go in. This video is kind of just all about what do you do when in this first kind of awkward season in a new place, because this is a brand new place for us. When we just moved here, like a little bit late in the season. We moved mid-May. And we started getting plants in the ground, and we've just had to pivot a bunch of different times, change directions, and so we wanted to share about what we're kind of up to right now.
For context, a lot of people, when they move to a new yard, they do a couple things usually that allows them a first season success. The first would be raised beds. People just put in raised beds and they have total control over the soil and what's in the soil and if the plant's going to succeed. The tilth of the soil, they just have total control over that, but it's expensive. The other thing that people do is they just buy in compost. They buy in as much compost as they need to do, like 6 inches deep everywhere. Those are great methods, but they cost money, and we wanted to do this without spending any money as much as possible. We still had to buy seeds and stuff like that, but that's the context. We came in with this plan to be able to grow plants with very little spending, which is very difficult to do, but we're thinking more long term. We know that we have the ability to grow amazing plants even without compost. Because of, using different natural processes with cover cropping and all that type of stuff, you can basically grow your own compost. But I think that it just means that we're not going to have a successful season the first season.
Even if you do buy in compost or raised bed mix and put in brand new raised beds, if you bought in all new soil, tilled it up, it was all perfect, and you planted in it, your plants could do great going in and then just immediately get wiped out, or late season get wiped out, which is what happened to us. Kind of lucky when we moved here. We had some raised beds already waiting for us, and we planted some of our cabbages in them. We planted our dahlias and some other areas, and at first it looked like they were going to do all right, but the problem is, again, when you're moving to a new place, you're disrupting the ecosystem, and that's, I think, one of the main things that you just have to be aware of and have to acknowledge. You are causing a disruption in the ecosystem, and hopefully it's for the best. Hopefully you're putting plants in the ground, you're attracting pollinators, you're attracting predatory insects that can keep everything in balance, but a lot of that takes a year or even sometimes longer, but it takes a year to kind of balance out. Our Napa cabbages, they are our pride and glory. They were doing great, and then it was like overnight the earwigs got them. They just completely shredded them. It was like a wave.
It was just, they came through the dahlias, through the cabbages, everywhere, the zinnias.
Yeah, and so by the time we set out traps, it was almost too late. We've still got some stuff going on, which is great, and we've got our cover crop. Our cover crop is actually facing its own troubles, where we think something's maybe eating the roots or something. We could really just get very discouraged. And of course, we're gonna experience that discouragement. But there's also things that you can do to kind of pick yourself up, go to the next step. We'll talk about a couple of those things that we've decided to do.
Dahlias are actually surprisingly very hardy and resilient in some ways. In other ways, they're not so much. But in one way that they are resilient is if they get eaten down to nothing, they will sprout again. They are gonna do their best to survive. So these dahlias in these pots, they have resprouted probably 3 times at this point. And I just got sick and tired of, I was spraying them with our pepper spray and wetting agent, and maybe it was the quail, I don't know, but something was not deterred by the pepper spray. It was just coming through and eating them, and so I just dug up as many as I could save. Basically, I'm gonna lose a lot. I'm gonna lose pretty much all my stock except for a few. So I'm saving them, I dug them up and put them in pots, and basically I'm to the point where if I get some tubers at the end, even one tuber per dahlia, I'll be happy, because that will mean I'm not starting from zero.
Another decision that we made was if the cabbages are shredded at a certain point, we're going to take them out. So we took them all out. It's a huge loss, of course, but we'll make our Napa cabbage fertilizer for next season. We'll just let that brew over the winter and through spring and whatnot, and we'll use it. Previously, we had dug out the tomatoes out of the beds that we're now growing cover crop in. We potted them up, and we just saved them, and then we actually grew a few more as well. We also took out the cucumbers, most of which had died. We planted more cucumbers, so we just put those in the bed with the cabbages. We're going to be spraying them with our natural pesticide now that we've kind of got that underway. Hoping we'll be putting probably some traps in there, and we're planting Thai basil and regular basil as well in that bed. The point is, you know, it's late to put these plants in the ground. It's August, but I mean, it's either that, like, we have the plants, it's either that or nothing. We kind of might as well. And I mean, this might be an encouragement to you. I really believe, I mean, this is just what we've experienced through the past, 5 years of gardening, is you just want to try things as much as possible, because once the season's over, it's over for that year. And then you have to wait, like, however many months. You might have to wait like 6 months before you can plant a single thing again. Yeah. And so there's just it's not worth it to just kind of throw away an entire year because you had a crop failure. Just get something back in there. Try and learn something else. Maybe we'll make more observations. And I mean, that's the hope, is that we're just going to make more observations. I mean, a lot of what we're doing is, of course, we're trying to get a harvest this year, but we're also just kind of planting the seeds and setting ourselves up for future seasons of success. We've planted a ton of comfrey that'll be coming up next year. We're getting our indigenous microorganisms, our IMO, kind of on lockdown. We've got our natural fertilizers really brewing. Our natural pesticides. We're getting into a lot of the Jadam stuff. There's so much that we're doing to try and set ourselves up for future years of success. We're putting down mulch in areas that we're not even planting in yet. We're doing what we can. And I think that's probably at the heart of our encouragement to you guys is, okay, it's August, great. What can you put in the ground? You can plant some radishes. Those are a quick one that sprout up and you get a crop from it. You could plant, I don't know, even like you could plant some lettuces like late season. There's probably other flowers that you can just kind of get going. I mean, you can certainly get your comfrey going at any time. You just want to be thinking ahead. Don't waste the whole season, even if you're just getting started late. It's not over. We're
growing like a cover crop. We're doing buckwheat and crimson clover. Buckwheat is a great summer cover crop, so I'd recommend doing that. Ours has great germination in an area that's a partial shade area. It was actually a great, permaculture observation moment where we wanted to put in a garden in this area that does have more shade, partial shade. And it was a good experiment to see if the seeds would sprout, because if a seed can sprout, then a plant can probably survive. That was really encouraging to see. Our germination rate on that was really good. I have blooming sunflowers, you guys, and one straw flower, so and gomphrena. Apparently pests don't like it, so I'm gonna grow a lot more of that next year, that's for sure.
Our zucchinis and summer squash are killing it.
Zucchinis would grow anywhere, so
they'll grow in the crack in the sidewalk.
Our kids love to pick them and then take 2 bites out of them, and then it's like, well, I don't really want to eat it now either.
Well, they'll take 2 bites and then they'll be like, great, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then they'll take 2 bites out of another one. Yeah. But we've got 1,000, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Hope that was encouraging. Hope there's something in there that you could take away. We love gardening so much. There's so much that we've learned from it. We're actually going to do a video on just how gardening has changed our lives. Enjoy your garden. Enjoy the season while it's here. And also set yourself up for next season, of course. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. And if you have any questions about anything that we said in this video or just something you'd like to see in the future, please drop that in the comments.